100% coaching to me is just about connection. It's become a gateway or the best platform for me to connect with people.
No rain.
Well, folks, hello and welcome back to the Naren Agarwal show. Today's episode is going to be straight fun. I can guarantee that. Not because of me, not because of the topic, but because of the person coming on board. This guy is the head men's soccer coach for Hanover College. But more importantly, he's a dear friend of mine. We've had some crazy philosophical mindset conversations in the past. He's been a soccer coach, a football coach for more than 22 years, more than half his life. He is the most vibrant, energetic 44-year-old man I have ever met. I'm so excited to bring on board my dear friend and professional soccer coach, Mr. Matt Wilkerson. Coach Wilco, how are you doing?
Good morning, my friend. I'm doing great. That's the best introduction I have ever had in my life. I will promise that. I'm gonna record that and play that on my phone every day. But I'm doing great. It's so good to see you. I miss you, man.
I miss you, Coach, and you deserve that introduction.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I'm excited to talk to you. I'm excited about what I'm going to learn in this conversation about you, about myself. That's the goal every day. So we'll see what happens. It's not like our CC lunch table conversations. We had some good ones there,
Yes, sir. Oh, we had some great ones, and I've gotten to learn so much about Stoicism, about life, and all these books from you, and about sports. Having said that, I want to ask you something. 22 years of coaching, 22 years of coaching people, 23 years of interacting with people. How has that journey been? How do you like coaching? What is coaching to you?
Coaching to me that's a great question. And my answer 22 years ago probably would have been completely different. It probably would have been a naive 22-year-old like, I love soccer and this is a way to stay involved with soccer as a career. Now, I feel like I was pretty immature emotionally when I was a younger person, and have started to learn a lot more about myself. And when you try and peel back the layers, I think now 100% coaching to me is just about connection. It's become a gateway or the best platform for me to connect with people. And in the end, I think the longevity of those relationships is the most rewarding. Like, you can win championships and things like that along the way, or see people grow. But I mean, without football or soccer, I don't meet you, So it's amazing the journey you go on through that and how it's changed. But I've been thinking about that question a lot. It's interesting you asked it, but it's connecting with people. It's trying to figure out, and none of these answers have anything to do with football. It's trying to figure out the best way to connect with an individual and the way they need it to hopefully use any experience I have. Not because I'm an expert, but some guys, like Enrico, who he's calling me 50 times a day, Coach, I need this. Much different relationship than maybe Will Bridgman or someone like that. So finding a way to connect with each individual, to see what they need, and to help them grow as a human being. And when you say that, or you listen to people talk, everybody's so critical today. They're like, well, he must think he has all the answers. I don't. But what I have done is made a ton of mistakes. And if I can use any one experience maybe that I have to pass on to Naren, although you've passed on many more to me, that makes your life easier because I've already been through that or made that mistake or maybe even had that success. Well, then why not do that? I'd be interested what you think about this. The old question about human existence is always thrown around there, and we try to make it very complicated, and we try and always have everything in life so organized into a nice little description or category.
Correct.
To me, I think it's about my whole lifetime is about learning to be a human being. And there's no right or wrong to that. And then more like within that to be a good one and learn about myself and then pass anything good I have on to somebody else and make it better. I think in nature you see that a lot. Maybe this is, like a mother taking care of her young fawn, they just protect them. And what's the point of them? They walk around, they eat, they sleep. The point is to exist and learn how to be you. And I don't know the point, but it's just something I've been thinking about lately.
That's amazing. I love how I spoke to you about coaching, and rather than going all technical, the fact that you've been there for 22 years, you just have a different outlook on it. And that's what's really interesting to me. You see it as a way of life and as a tool to engage and connect with people and discover your life. And I think that's really powerful, because you don't just see it as a profession, as a way to earn money, but it's almost become this quest and this tool for this quest in life for you. That's so amazing. I guess I've always seen students connect so well with you, and I've seen players around, but a lot of your players who I was friends with in college, they really looked at you in a very different way, and they connected with you in a very different way. Why do you think that was so?
The best and most honest answer, and you and I have talked about this, I don't know. I don't have a specific way. Like, I wouldn't say, if you said, what are you good at? It's hard to judge yourself, I think, in any way. You're either to one extreme, overly hard on yourself, or overly easy on yourself, or praise yourself. So, if someone said you're a good coach, that's a tough question for me to answer. I try to be. I think at times I am, and I think at times I need to get better. But some of it, I guess, is just instinctive, because what you're describing, I mean, obviously I do try to connect with people, but, and you told me this once, and it still sticks with me. Like, you, for an old man, you called me, I think it was after I beat you in racquetball, so you called me an old man. You have a good ability to connect with young people and that energy. And I think that is true, but I can't tell you why. And I enjoy that energy of young people probably more than people my age or older. It's just, I don't know. I live off the energy of my players. If you talk about adventure sports people and they get that high or whatever, I get that from my players and their energy and that exciting part of their life where they're trying to learn. And I don't know how I connect with them. Some of it, I guess, is, I try and stay up on what kind of music they're listening to. But I think a lot of it is just listening to them. Figuring out what's important to them and connecting in personal ways. And if you do that, it doesn't matter what age someone is. And that being said, I've failed at connecting with a lot of people just as well, and I think a lot of it is not trying to impose my will on our connection. Let them come to me and define what that connection is. And again, some of it is, I mean, I've got guys that I haven't talked to in 10 years that my relationship is just as strong with guys I talk to every day, but their needs are just different, so that's a long-winded, I'm good at that answer, but I don't know, but
wow.
I'm thankful for it if it is true. I'm very thankful for it, because more than knowledge of coaching, I think if you have someone you believe in and trust, and whether it be me to them or them to me, makes me look better as a coach, or we have more success as a team, or probably more powerful than the X's and O, definitely more powerful than the X's. All the great coaches I know, the first thing people say about them is the connection that the athlete has with them, and vice versa. Like,
wow.
We all need someone to believe in and someone to believe in us. So
that's powerful. Coach, that leads me to a question I've always wanted to ask you, but I never got the chance. In Hanover, in the history of men's soccer, my senior year, my final year, that was 2013, Hanover won the division championship for the first time in its history, men's soccer. And you played a pivotal role in doing that, because Hanover College has existed from 1827, but had never won a men's soccer division championship and never been ranked one. How were you able to do that in like 150 to 200 years of the college? What does it take? What happened? How did you make that happen?
Well, they didn't have soccer all those years, so you have to keep that in mind. But you might have been a big part of that. You were our biggest fan, and so we had that lucky energy. It was a lot of hard work that nobody saw, and I think if you boil it down to one thing, and you can attest to this, and maybe people that are listening won't fully understand it, but the collection of individuals at Hanover College in 2016, your class, and maybe the classes underneath them, not only on our men's soccer team, and I'm not saying anything bad about the people that are there now. There's wonderful people, but man, the personalities, and it was a pretty special group of people, just on campus in general, the vibe of community and people that want to make the world a better place, really. I mean, think about, you had one of them on your show recently, Rafa and Enrico, and I mean, we could go down the list of people that came in and out. Rafa, the martial arts guy from Mexico.
Right.
Just what a cast of people all put together at the same time. It kind of created just this, I don't know,
ripple effect of good energy throughout. Yeah.
Great energy, but that can't discount the fact that we had unbelievable talent. I would try and name them all, but I'd miss somebody. And guys were just, they believed in a common goal. They worked together every day. They worked in the off season. They were purposeful. They were brave. They made decisions that they thought would lead them towards that. And they believing in something that doesn't exist, or like you said, has never existed, is not always easy, right? You and I had this discussion too. How do we know what a unicorn is if it doesn't exist? You take parts of different things and you put them together. I got a decent memory for a 44-year-old, but they just, again, they believed in something that didn't exist, and there's a ton of work that went into it that nobody saw. And then we got some good fortune, and that's why the energy, one game in that specific season, we were losing with 23 seconds to go. Game's over, right? We tie the game and we win in overtime. The margin for error success is like that in a lot of those things. So we had some really good fortune too, but awesome people, man. I will never forget that year in my life. It stands out. Think about it every day and think about those people and just wonderful people.
Wow. Is talented people enough for a team to win championships and games? What's your perspective?
Yes and no. If you look at the Premier League or whatever sport it may be, I guess people love to talk about the Yankees in baseball, always have the most talent. It's a component, and it's a helpful component, no doubt about it. But if you don't have people that like each other or believe in a team concept and can think outside of themselves, it can also be very detrimental, So there's this is interesting, a book I'm reading called Peak Performance, or just read, and they talked about in military platoons or whatever, I might get the terminology wrong, so I apologize to anyone that's serving, but I think there's 30 people or whatever these groups they are studying, and they wanted to study their overall performance and certain, their fitness regimen or exercises, and what made this group better than that group. Was it the most talented individual? And what they found out was, and this is all based on physical fitness, the least fit guy, his attitude and motivation was the most important to the group's success. If he was motivated to get fit and positive and got after it, his influence on the group was the differentiator in making them the best performers. But it goes the other way too. If that guy was negative and bad attitude and not motivated, drug the group down. So talent obviously is important, but it's one ingredient,
Wow. So it's how strong is your weakest link?
That's exactly yeah, that's the and I hate to use weakest because we're just talking about one component there.
Correct.
But so guys on a team, I've had guys come up to me and say, "Hey, man, like haven't played as much as they wanted," and that is tough. That's a terrible part of a coach because you love all these guys. Like, what is my legacy? And that's your legacy. You every day, from whatever your role was, raise the level of the team. And I could never articulate that very well. Maybe I can use that study now to articulate that better. But, we've had guys that haven't played a lot that have been some of the most important members of our team because of the way they approach every day, the way they prioritize our team, the way they compete hard, the way they lift other people, and set an example. So it's no doubt talent is important, but there's a lot more to it.
Wow, I love that answer. I love how you stress on teamwork, and it's amazing to see, like, really the talent is there, but the teamwork also adds as a big factor for a winning team. What are some of the biggest challenges a sports coach, a soccer coach has, according to you?
Myself, not getting in my own way, my own emotions. But you're dealing with people. So I have to deal with myself and do the right thing and figure out what each guy needs. But then everybody, on the team has a different personality and different goals for themselves and different motives and different. And then the hardest part of athletics, but also the best part of athletics is this. We talked about it a little earlier. Put in all this work, and there's no guarantees. That's hard. It's also probably the most valuable part. But it's also when you see someone that could accomplish something, but they don't know it yet, or they don't believe in themselves, and you're trying to find a way to pass that on to them, or as we just talked about. You got someone doing everything they can possibly do, and they're wonderful, and you want them to play and be able to achieve their goals, but they're not right now. I'm sure it's the same hard part of being a parent, like you want to make your kid happy all the time, but sometimes you have to say no. So finding that balance, I mean, there's too many to describe. There's a lot of energy that you expend, that you can't measure. Like you go in a workout, I burn this many calories. You go to a coaching session and you're totally focused, trying to figure out 30 individuals. And I come out of there, maybe it's just because I'm getting old, but I'm like, whew, like drained. So it's just trying to leave no stone unturned and be there for all your athletes and what they need, and give them the attention they need, and not miss anything, and not ignore anyone, and not on purpose, but like it's a lot of emotional energy. So I don't know. I would say that.
Wow. So what percentage of coaching would you say is technical, just according to you, and what percentage of coaching is the aspect that is not technical, but the people skills and the emotional quotient and all that? According to you, what would be that percentage differentiator, according to you?
I'm going to say 25 technical, 75.
Wow.
And, I'm not putting too much thought into that, but, I mean, it can go, you probably ask 100 people, you get 100 different answers, but I guess I'm assuming that you're starting with similar abilities, then I would say 25, 75, Now, sometimes that technical ability of someone else you're playing or competing against, like you and I in racquetball, is so high that maybe that 75% is not going to make a difference. So it varies, but to give you a little, like my philosophy, my dad wrestled. I know in India, wrestling is a very, very big sport. The guy sent you Bajram, big time wrestling. I love the guy. So my dad wrestled at the University of Iowa, and he wrestled for a man named Dan Gable. And this guy is mine. Like people say, who's your coaching idol or mentor? It's not a soccer guy, it's this guy. And my dad is 60, 65 now, and in his man cave he has a picture of Dan Gable. That's the power of their relationship and the power. And to give you a backstory, my uncle passed away, my youngest uncle, a few years back. And I mean, we're in a tiny room. There's probably 15, 20 people at this funeral service. And he had wrestled for Dan Gable for a year maybe. Dan Gable walks into the funeral. No idea how he knew about it, no idea, but hasn't probably had any interaction with my uncle in years. And that's just kind of the connection and the care and the dedication that he had to his athletes. Now, technically, he was an Olympic champion, and so he had all the technical skills and all those things. But I think a lot of people do. So I think the differentiator is, like, when you get to the top level of soccer, of wrestling, of whatever, everybody coaches whatever. Their technical knowledge is about the same. And the differentiator, I don't know if you're following English football right now, but Liverpool, just won the Premier League for the first time in 30 years. And their coach, Jurgen Klopp, I mean, you see him on the sidelines, and he's just a player's guy that, like, they love him, like, is his knowledge more than the other coaches, or does he have better players? Could be the case, but I would say the first thing everybody says about him is they love playing for that man, and they would do anything for him. So I think it's a huge, huge factor.
Wow. Coach, I want to get into a little bit about mental attitude in sports. So lately, a lot of stuff like meditation, visualization is entering the sports arena, and it's becoming famous with sportsmen and women around the world. Such practices, mental practices, is that something that you think has been coming in? Is that something that you try to work more with to give that extra edge to your team?
100%. And in retrospect, I wish I would have, like I said, I was naive when I was in school. I wish I would have went into sports psychology or some type of discipline along those lines. I think in my mind, it is going to be the biggest in the next 10, 15 years. You're going to see the biggest growth in that area of sport than any other area. 100%. And I try to introduce that to all our athletes in a number of different ways. There's some really good things out there, but the best example I could use, and I use the players, is, and I've experienced this myself, going from performing at a pretty good level and then the next day performing at a really bad level. My skills did not change. They were the exact same. What changed was my mindset, and so, I'm not qualified to teach those things, probably, but this is where meeting people like you, conversations we have, and just individual conversations with your athletes and reading Peak Performance. I sent you that book called Flow. Unbelievable. You will like that. And just taking bits and pieces from everywhere. Because again, a big problem in the world right now is, let's throw a blanket theory on everything. This works for everybody. And that is so wrong, whether it be education, whether it be whatever it may be. Everybody learns different. Everybody. So I can't just, even if I probably did have an educational background in this, they would have probably taught me, okay, administer this to Naren, and then administer this to John, and then administer this, where probably I try and learn, like, a lot of different ways and different experts in this field, how they do it, and they have little minor differences or nuance in how they do it. And then find which one fits each athlete, you know. But male athletes, in my experience, are very reluctant to meditation, to visualization, until they're desperate, usually, or they try it, right? Like, I don't need it. Like, they think it's something's wrong with me. There's like a negative stigma towards it. Like, I don't need mental training. And then you kind of talk through it, but, you know, don't tell me Enrico wasn't sitting there and his visualization was different, probably just visualizing himself with his shirt off, scoring goals, sunglasses on, running around, you know. But man, the power of that guy, like, if he wanted to make something come true, he did. And I know he sat there and visualized those things. We've talked about it. So it is the biggest, probably most important piece of athletics in the future, and probably just society in general, in my opinion. So my brain's very small. So if, you know, I'm trying to grow all the gray matter I can, not gray hair, gray matter. I'm trying to do that. But yeah, I mean, I admire you for, you've taught me a lot about that, to be honest, just from conversation, you know, and introducing me to Sadhguru and different books on meditation and things like that. So it's definitely something I try to practice, and it's hard to describe to people, but you know, you listen to Tim Ferriss or whoever, and all the people, successful people that he talks to, 85% of them have some type of meditation routine, and Hugh Jackman is, you should listen to that episode. It's fantastic. So
wow, that's awesome. That's really powerful. Tell me a little bit about your liking for Stoicism. What's about Stoicism that you like, and how does that help you in your life and in coaching?
Well, I'm not an expert on Stoicism by any means. I'm pretty fascinated with like Marcus Aurelius and you know, like, I guess maybe it's just their use of words, maybe even, and to me, my interpretation, and again, I could be totally wrong, of Stoicism is, a lot of it is removing impulsive emotion. And impulsive emotion is my worst enemy. So I probably say some things to my players that are related to Stoicism, or retweet on social media, and someone's like, well, that's the opposite of Wilco, you know, and I'm like, exactly, but that's what I admire, and that's what I'm trying to get to, you know, like, so that's the target out there in the future. I guess that's probably, and then, you know, I guess you connect with different things for who knows why. I think a lot of those, I'll read you one today, actually.
Oh, I love that. Please.
So this is a wonderful book, The Daily Stoic. Okay, and I thought we might talk before, and it's talking, it says, they give a quote each day, and then this guy, Ryan Holiday, kind of describes it. The quote is, for I believe a good king is from the outset, and by necessity, a philosopher. And the philosopher is from the outset a kingly person. And he goes on to describe it down here, and it says, there was an Israeli general that believed that philosophy is essential in his role as a leader and a warrior. People used to tell me that business administration is for the practical life and philosophy is for the spirit, he said. Through the years, I found it is exactly the opposite. I use philosophy much more practically. War and leadership offer an unending series of ethical decisions that require priorities, balance, and clarity. That's what philosophy helps with. So little things like that, to me, when I see that, I think about coaching right away, you know, and leading, and like you've said to me, like, well, how explain why you think you do this? I don't know. Maybe it's my philosophy, and nothing taught me any of these things, but it is having good, clear priorities and trying to stick to those, and balance and clarity of what you're trying to do. So I don't know. It just resonates with me for whatever reason.
Wow.
What do you think about it?
I think it's a pretty cool way of life and approaching life, especially in the modern world, when we're so clogged up in our head. I think Stoicism and a lot of these quotes help me unclog the clog and the drain and the gutter in the head, because it just makes you look at life with much more clarity. It brings forth clarity, and I think that's very powerful to me.
Gets rid of distraction, we hold on to things and expend so much energy on things, and this is meditation too, that are irrelevant. Things that haven't happened or might not happen, or I agree with you.
Like Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And I think that's so true for sports now that we speak about our life, we are already worrying about losing the game before even playing the game.
And a lot of that is, genetic stuff that's hardwired into our DNA and survival and things like that. But I heard another great one yesterday, like a wealth of knowledge leads to a poverty of attention, which is an interesting one, because I think that can go either way, but it's an interesting one to think of. But I see that a lot, like sometimes in coaching, you want to, or whatever it is, you want to add more. I got to learn the next great thing. And so then you miss out. If we're talking about the 25-75 before, I missed out on the connection of what do they need. So sometimes, I think a lot of times it's just
sticking to the basics.
Scaling it back, and sticking to what you do. And in that same book, Peak Performance, it talks about being a minimalist to be a maximalist. And so it's basically cutting out distractions, and how a lot of experts in their field, they eat the same thing, they only have, Mark Zuckerberg, I guess, only has like the same shirt he wears every day, and they live close to work, so they don't waste time doing those things, and they can just dial in on their main purpose and what they're trying to accomplish. So I got to tell you, man, you're looking good though. That just stands out to you.
Thank you. I'm trying to carry that Indo-Western look,
I need that shirt. Now, I got to show everybody. I got my Naren shirt on. This is Naren's nickname at Hanover. The legend.
You're very kind. But I think the phrase over there, legend, describes the person who's wearing the shirt. So
No. I don't know about that.
In the 22 years, you've had a lot of students come and go. Sports coaching in a college is very different, because in a team, players, a lot of them stay stagnant. But in a college atmosphere, they have to rotate. They come and go. They come and go. They come and go. So what is that one thing? What are some things that you make sure you convey to every incoming team, and how do you keep all of them binded to the same vision and alignment, because it's almost like a fresh team every year? That's a big challenge.
Yeah, it is. I think first, we'll go back to that quote I just sent you. Like, you got to have priorities, balance, and clarity in the message that you're giving to them. It helps to have some success, right? It's easier for people to cling to success than if. But that's what's so impressive about that 2016 group. When they came in, we had no success, so they were clinging to just purely a vision, and me feeding them that vision every day, and then from that, them developing their own vision, and then slowly seeing some success, and that light at the end of the tunnel gets brighter, right? So, so it was really difficult for them. They're trying to accomplish something no one's done, so none of us know. None of us have the answers. But having those great guys made it easier for the rest of the people, right? And so in college and recruiting, our guys do a wonderful job of this. And this goes back to your talent versus intangibles kind of thing. Someone comes and visits, and you can tell right away, right? They're a fit, they're not. They're in line with what we're trying to accomplish, they're not. And our guys will say, nope, Doesn't matter how talented the guy is. If they said no, no. They said yes. Again, doesn't matter if maybe his talent level is a little below, like this guy fits what we're doing. And you say, well, what are we doing? That's kind of a hard thing to define, but we all have an idea in our head of this is what we're trying to accomplish. This is what fits our personalities. This is a guy that will buy into that, plus have his own independence and creativity. But it's hard. And the hardest part is, and a good part, after 4 years, most times I think guys are ready. We might be the closest we've ever been, but they're like ready for new challenges and move on and go find their own other adventures and things like that. But you get so close to them and then they're gone, you know, and they're not gone, but your relationship changes, you know, like the day you left campus, I'm like, and you're thinking, man, I'm going to miss Naren. And I do miss Naren, but our relationship has changed. It's not over. We still have a connection, but that's difficult because you wish you could have all the people every day. That's a great thing about college, I think, as a student. All the people and so many of them that you love are right there, accessible to you. And that's a hard thing to leave because that changes in your adult life, you know? I mean, maybe it just the amount of people gets smaller. That's probably why I love still being around college athletes or college campuses. For me too, I'm around all those people, you know. Right. And even like you weren't an athlete on my team. Like we just met. I don't know how we met. Probably in the CC sometime. So it is hard, but I think you just got to have clear values that you believe in, and you've got to constantly sell those. And you got to let guys make mistakes along the way. When they make mistakes, that's probably when they need you the most to support them. A lot of people, you hear this a lot in recruiting. We want guys to get a 4.0 and do this and do everything right. And that person rarely exists, if at all. So when they make mistakes, instead of me saying, get out, that's probably when they need me most, put my arm around them, say, hey, let's get through this. What are the solutions? How can we fix this? I'm here for you. I'm not judging you. Now, after a certain point, they keep making the same mistake. That's on them, right? Like you can only, at some point they have to take over and they have to fix that. But having good people, to answer your question, and just kind of perpetuates itself, I believe, if you let them be the filter. You know,
that's amazing. It's like you're focusing on cultural fit more than competence, and I think that's powerful. You know, you're talking
about trying to find both.
Yeah.
Trying to find both, but and again, I'm not saying this like I have all the answers to coaching. I hope everybody understands that. But these are things that I've seen and that work for us, and you know, I mean, it is. It's just like who are guys that our guys want to. Sometimes it just comes down to, yeah, I want to be around this guy every day. I don't want to be around this guy every day. You know, like going back, he's going to pull us down instead of lift us up. So we've been lucky to have amazing people in our program. I mean, just, you know, up and down the line that want to make each other better. And, you know, the Childers, the Will Bridgman, Dean Collier, Jimmy Hogue. I mean, I could name 100 of them. So it's those guys set the example and talk about legacy. That's what we talk about when a guy comes in the first day. You are going to be the guy if you do everything here, do everything you can here. All of us have somebody we're like, I want to be like that guy. Instead of saying, I want to be like that guy, you be the guy that everybody wants to be like.
That's what this is about. This is about a free-flowing conversation and really discovering what goes in your head and, you know, how do you look at stuff. So that's awesome. Thanks for all the kind words that you're shooting at me.
Very true. I mean, they're true words. They're true words. I've never seen someone connect. Talk about connecting. I've never seen someone connect with so many people in such a powerful way, in a positive way. Every single one of them. I only saw negative energy from you one time, and that was after a racquetball game. And it was just minimal. It was very minimal.
That was after you beat me. That was a tough game. Oh man, that's awesome, Coach. I have a final few questions for you. What are some qualities that differentiate an A player and a quality player from a not so quality player? What are some qualities that you see in like consistently as a pattern? Quality players have these qualities, and the non so quality players have these behaviors, traits. What are some of those differences that you consistently see?
Are you talking technical, or you just
In general, behavioral traits?
I think the best ones aren't afraid to fail. I think it boils down to that. Like, I teach a lot of kids now individually, right? And there's a lot of techniques and skills they ignore because out of fear. And yesterday's a good example. I was training a couple girls and said, "Have you ever done this skill?" And I showed it to them. They're like, "No, we don't want to do that." I'm like, "No, we're going to do it." Within 5 minutes, they learned it. So limiting, whether it be fitness, whether it be technical skills, whether it be mental strength, not being afraid to fail. Like you said, having the doubt before you go in the game, we're going to lose for what reason, So, and then I think this is a great line I heard the other day too. The great ones aren't consistently better. They're better at being consistent. And they just show up every day with an open mind and humility. And the worst trait you can have as an athlete or a human being or anything, in my opinion, is once you think you know everything. What a terrible place to be, because there's no room for growth, right? Like, and guys sometimes in soccer have that, like, well, I already know everything. And I'm like, well, that's the saddest day of your soccer career, because there's nowhere else to go. And so just, and being willing to step outside themselves and take advantage of every resource they have. I don't know if you met Alex Macon at Hanover, now the strength coach. I think you guys might have just missed. Unbelievable human being and coach, and had a massive impact on all kinds of athletes, but people that utilize him, people that, utilize their coaches, utilize the trainers, utilize Katie Loschneider, and people on campus, and understand I can do a lot more counting on other people than I can just by myself. And
Wow.
I think those are the guys that have the most success.
That's real powerful. Being not afraid to fail, and then reaching out for help rather than thinking you could all do it by yourself. That's amazing. That's powerful.
And having an open mind, like, to things like meditation and visualization, right? Like, the great ones are looking. They don't want always like just praise. They want just objective feedback, because they're always looking for an edge to add something to their game. And you say, hey, I share with our team, like this passage I read you in the book and different things and videos, and where I think maybe they can take something from. 80% of them probably ignore. The ones that are great, they're always seeking something they can add to themselves. And they just, as simple as it sounds, they do everything they're asked to do. Will Bridgman never missed a workout, never missed a class, you walk around campus, people like, he might be one of the brightest guys that ever went to school here, like never missed a workout. And he was a busy guy. And he never came up to me and said, I don't have time for this. And then we have some guys that maybe aren't involved with as much, like, I don't know if I have time, coach. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let's break down your day. I have class at 11. I sleep till 10:59. Okay, maybe we build some time in, Then I go to class. Then I play Call of Duty for 55 hours, And like, I think I found the problem. You know how it goes. You've seen all those individuals, you know?
Yeah.
You've seen it in real time.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Last question I have for you. What's a non-negotiable? I know you're a coach who loves to connect with people, loves to encourage people, give them a chance. But what are some things that are non-negotiable for you as a coach? If somebody does this, they're no longer on the team. What are some of those things? Threw a tough one at you right there.
I mean, I try not to. I wouldn't. I would say there's non-negotiables, but I wouldn't say that you do this and you're off the team. You know, like there's too many things out there for that to happen. And again, I want to be part of the rehab, I guess is the word. But lying is one that we say this is a non-negotiable. You know, like. But again, as we're all learning to be humans, I don't know. I don't know if I'm right with this. I would need you to tell me. I have guys that lie to me, and my first instinct is, well, let's fix this right here instead of cutting them off, and they'll just continue to lie somewhere else. But then it goes back to what we said. The non-negotiable maybe comes in. If that continues, then you're gone. But you know, they say a team is a family. I fully believe that. It is a little different than your direct family, obviously, but same principles, unconditional love. You want to help them, non-judgmental, got to be supportive for them. So it's hard to just kick someone out of the family, right? Like, especially when you think you can help them. But lying is probably the biggest one. Dishonesty. Ego is a big one. You know, like putting yourself, and that's a hard one to describe too. I'd have to find context and things like that. But again, I think big picture, let's look for solutions to young people having issues and try and help them instead of looking for ways to get rid of them. But there definitely are non-negotiables. And I say honesty probably is one. And when you define lying, right, like there's so many different types of lies. There's pure deception. There's maybe bend the truth a little bit. But man, in the world today, the biggest problem in the world is lying. And so, yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
That's pretty cool. I love that answer.
Yeah, and you know, we have a code that I wouldn't want to get too into about our standards and expectations. That's kind of very personal to our team. You go through, you know, if you break some of those, you could jeopardize your spot on the team. So there's a lot of them. But again, I wouldn't say like, you do this, you're gone. Now, obviously there's certain things, but first and foremost, we want to say, hey, you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Can we figure this out? You made a mistake. A lot of times that's when people need the most help, like we said before, you know, like I know I did as a young person. That's probably why I believe in that. Like I think I had probably good intentions, but I was really dumb and did some dumb things. And I needed not someone to say, you idiot, get out, but like, hey, man, how can we fix this? Who do you want to be? How do we move forward? So I don't know.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for all the honest answers, and I loved your perspectives on a lot of things. So thank you so much. Coach, do you have any final questions for me?
Yes. How do you connect so well with everybody? The same question you asked me.
How do I connect so well with everybody? Well, firstly, thanks for the compliment. I try to. That's my intention. So I would say a few things. Number one is intention of connection, without looking for a reward. You know, just genuinely wanting to connect with somebody just for the sake of it, rather than seeing them as a means to an end for something. Oh, I want to connect with you because so that you can get me this connect and I can get this and that. But when the connection itself becomes the goal, I think genuine connection happens. That's number one, the intention of connection. Number two is simple rule that I see so many people miss, and that's something that I have also tried to get better at, is acknowledging the presence of somebody. as simple as that. When you're in a group of 10 people and you know 2 people and you speak to the 2 people and leave, the other 8 people feel unacknowledged. And I would say genuine connection is as simple as just acknowledging the presence of somebody, because as human beings we love to be acknowledged, and that's the least you can give to somebody. That's coaching too.
Totally coaching. Yes.
How come?
Well, just think, if you're on a team and the exact same reasons you're saying, like you want to feel
connected to the team, you want to feel part of the team. Yeah.
Acknowledged. All those things. So, I want to go back one thing real quick to the last question. You had a great message about a self-made man the other day, maybe a week ago.
Yeah.
100% agree. And there is no such thing. And it goes back to, like you said, the non-negotiables. So someone makes a mistake. Are they going to be a self-made mistake maker? That's where, same thing, they need someone to step in, you know what I mean? And help them and rely on people and you going even back further, work on utilize the resources around them. So I just want to say I love that message you had, and it hit me at a time where I've been thinking about all those things. And you're eloquent and put in all the words. I've just been reciting that in my head day after day. So. Wow. But no, it's your energy is as good as anyone I've ever met in my life. I mean, and especially as a young person, like the way you were able to, and I've said it 5 times, but connect with everybody on campus. I learned so much from you, Naren, and I'm very thankful for that.
Coach, what a pleasure to have a great conversation with you and relive some past memories. This has been an awesome conversation. I hope to have one of those again with you here so that we can bring it out to the world and see what goes on in the head of the most energetic 44-year-old man I've ever met.
Well, we need to get some, I miss our days when we'd go get some Indian food and
oh, yes.
You'd show me the ropes, and I haven't had any in a while, so I'm missing it. But hey, you are the man. You look amazing, my friend. Keep doing what you're doing. You're making the world a better place, and I look up to you, and I know probably anyone that's met you does the same. So I hope to see you soon.
Coach, exactly all the things that you said, ditto, likewise. Thank you so much, Coach. Hope to see you very soon.
I love you, my friend. Take care.